Okay, today I have a movie that I want to review. This is my first movie review, so I'm probably going to suck at it, but I'm going to try anyway. The movie I have today is I Am Legend by Will Smith. With Will Smith, not by him. Or maybe, I don't know. Anyway, this movie was probably the sickest movie I've ever seen. Sick meaning good. It just blew me away about how awesome it was. It had this equalness of sadness, and it played the environment up pretty well. See, the storyline is Will Smith is a virologist who works for the military. He lives in New York with his wife and his daughter. And his daughter is played with his actual daughter, but that doesn't matter. Anyway, so this scientist or somebody, I can't remember her name, she creates this cure for cancer, which she thinks is a cure for cancer, but what happens is it turns everybody into monsters. Not monsters, like, they have vampire qualities, but they're still human, technically. Their brain activity is decreased to the point where all they can do is scream and attack like animals. Their skin is all pale, and they have a huge, no, they don't have a, whatever. They have a huge weakness for UV rays, so they can't go outside during the day, so technically they're like vampires. Except you don't become one if they get it. Only 9% of the human race is left, I believe, in this monster. 1% left is immune to it, and the rest all died, but everybody else became monsters. So what Will Smith does is he has his own house. From the time the attack started, 3 years later, he has this house, and he set it up so that every time it's sundown, he locks all the windows and doors so the monsters can't kill him at night. And he has a dog, which is also female, which I thought, its name is Sam. I thought it was a guy at first, anyway. So, he has this house, and he does all this stuff every day. So he goes out trying to find survivors with a radio broadcast that he sends automatically every day. Meanwhile, he's also trying to find specimens of the monsters so he can test his cures on them. So far, nothing he hasn't gotten anywhere, but he has done well in some areas. Anyway, he eventually accidentally falls into this warehouse with his dog, and he tries out his medicine and it ends up not working, so he feels discouraged and all that. Later on, stuff happens and stuff, and he explores and he does crap and he's all alone and all that. Anyway, so in this movie, he's attempting to find a cure, but what ends up happening is he falls in the trap that he set for the first vampire. Her I'm gonna say boyfriend or alpha male or whatever. He sets an equally powerful trap that traps Will Smith, and ends up falling on it, like landing on his knife that he was cut himself down with, like this one. He ends up cutting the rope and he falls, and this goes right into his leg, like so. So he's injured, and at the same time, he passes out and he wakes up almost during sunset, and his dog's barking at him, and he has to like leave. So the alpha male sends out some dogs and they go fight him and all that, and I don't know. The dog dies. The dog doesn't die; it gets bitten, and it starts to become one of them. And Will Smith brings it home, and he ends up having to choke it because if not, it's gonna kill him. So that was a pretty sad scene there. But he bounces back and he ends up attempting to commit suicide by killing as many of the monsters as he can. At least that's what I think he's trying to do. So after that, he ends up getting attacked, and his car flips over and all that. But then the second survivor who's immune to it, and some kid she's carrying with him, they were waiting at the place that he told them to wait during the broadcast, and they fell asleep. Oh, by the way, if you didn't notice, I'm kind of doing the whole movie, so if you haven't seen it, kind of leave because it's spoilers. I'm also doing it as fast as I can because I'm retarded like that. Just remember, the movie's really good, so you don't even need my opinion to watch it, but it's good to watch anyway because I like people. Anyway, so after he gets attacked and his car falls over, the people, the girl and her kid friend, they bring him back to his house and they save him and all that, and then stuff happens, and then it turns out the monsters followed him home, so he ends up blowing part of his house apart and trying to kill as many monsters as he can. He ends up getting locked downstairs in his laboratory, and they kind of storm in through the basement, destroy stuff, and he's hid, all three of them, they're hid behind this glass wall, right, like a mime, and the alpha male, he's banging on it with his head, and it's breaking, And there's two endings to this, and there's one ending that they showed in theaters. That was the worst ending I've ever seen. I'm not even going to dignify it with a detail about it. All I'm going to say is it's horrible and I hated it. The second ending was the best ending I could think of, or they thought of. It was the best ending that I could think, because, like, first of all, Will Smith lives. The other one, he blows himself up. Oh, heroically. I'm gonna go. Anyway, he ends up reasoning with the monster, and he gives the girl back. And there was like this moment together in the scene. It was just so intense and powerful. So he gives the guy his girl back, and they leave. And the girl tells Will Smith about some refuge. So they go there. That's the end of the movie. But this one, it was very symbolic, because the monster looked at Will Smith. He screamed at him. He looked at this wall, and he had pictures of all the dead vampires, and it made Will Smith seem like a killer, like Charlie Manson or something, because he has pictures of all his victims. And the point of the story is, it's called I Am Legend. The first one, it's a legend, or the first ending, the crappy one. He's made a legend because he's a hero and he saved everybody. But no, the second one, he is the last man in New York with a bunch of monsters. The monsters that made New York their home. He's the legend among them, because the legend is that he goes out and he kills the monsters. So he ends up finding a cure, and he goes to the refuge, and the movie's over. And just go see it. It was the best movie ever.